Welcome to our video. We'd like you to take a moment to consider a couple of things. What is your true identity? And what does it mean to live an authentic life? Companions of destiny, as we refer to the folks that dive deeply into these inquiries to really discover their true nature as spiritual beings and waking up to their full potential, explore these in great depth. And that's been our story, our past 20 years together. We've been exploring every nook and cranny of consciousness around those particular inquiries. And what we find is that people that wake up to their true identity, they identify themselves primarily as spiritual beings living a human experience on planet Earth, begin to tap into their full potential and realize aspects and capabilities that they know intuitively they have, but they just weren't accessing them. It's as though there's veils in the way that keep you from tapping into your full potential. And I know many of you innately know that you have that potential and you struggle or maybe experience some frustration trying to realize it. So what we're offering through Companions of Destiny and the perspectives that we share with people is a new way of looking at this that can unlock your consciousness and wake you up to your full potential. My name's Qua Veda.
And I'm Vishara Veda. Our story started back in the early 90s, and we had a profound, unexpected, amazing spiritual awakening. We went from being regular human beings relating, we were on a spiritual path and trying to awaken, but we were still looking through the veils of our own past, of our own identity, of what we call the small story of me, what my name is, what my age is, what my family is, what I've accomplished, what I haven't accomplished, what is still unresolved in me, all of those things that we're all familiar with. That was how we were looking at life through that veil, even as we pursued spirituality. And we found ourselves suddenly propelled into a spiritual reality that was really beyond our imagination. All of a sudden, from one day to the next, literally, we were living in a whole different world. We had different standards, we had different reality, we had different pictures of what we thought was life. We lived by different codes of ethics. Everything was different. What was before that, our past, no longer seemed to be of importance to us. We no longer valued the things we valued before. It was quite amazing. And for a while, it just seemed like we were the only two people on the planet who understood each other. Everyone else, it was like strangers in a strange land. And then over time, as we stayed in these bodies and continued to be in this altered reality, it started integrating with the world as it is right now. And we began working with people. The first thing, as Qua said earlier, that we found is people were relating to themselves as primarily human beings attempting to be spiritual, the people that were on the path of spirituality. And what we were seeing is you were primarily spiritual beings for a very short period of time inhabiting a human body, and the human experience is very vivid for most people, but it is not nearly as big and as true as what we really are. And so we began to explore that type of consciousness and allow people to discover who they are through our work. Not us telling them who they are, or not just through an intellectual understanding of it, but actually getting a deep experience of their own true identity. And our true identity is certainly oneness, but is also a unique expression of that oneness in these human bodies. And when we discover that and start living through that veil, and when other people do, then we show up with our full self. Prior to that, we're showing up with the expectations and false beliefs of our past and our conditioning of the world. So so through the years, and the other thing, a very major thing that we discovered about people on planet Earth is people on spiritual path is they're always looking for what's wrong with them and trying to fix it. So the fascination with the story of what went wrong in their life or the pain and suffering of their life rather than putting their attention on what is exalting about you and me and all of life. And we find that it's very easy, actually, to access who you are. I mean, you never could leave who you are. It's not something to learn about. It's just something to unveil and discover, and it does not require nearly as much effort as is commonly believed. And so we've been extremely gratified in our ability to reflect back the divinity in others and have them actually show up realizing who they really are.
Yeah, there's three principles that, well, there's many principles, but we'll talk about three of them that help facilitate this expanded consciousness and awareness of your true nature. And one of them is knowing. So living from a knowing, an inner knowing and truth of your spiritual identity and claiming that. So that embracing is the second one, kind of embracing that inner knowing and really owning that, not that you're just part-time spiritual and part-time material and human, but you're all spiritual and all human. You have a full dynamic range of experience from the gross to the exalted oneness and beyond, and to start to live in that full range rather than in a very limited range. So embracing your inner knowing of who you are, and then engaging in life with that. So that means not segregating who you are from life, but fully living it all the time. And this may seem a bit of a stretch for some people, but I've been, for example, we've been together 20 years, but the last 16 years I've been working in a large high-tech company in a position as an analyst. So very demanding, very regular human type job that's challenging and has all the stress that most people experience. And what I've found is over the years, engaging in this way that we've been describing, work has gotten easier and easier, and the accomplishments have gotten better, and I just feel happier and less stressed. And it's all by embracing these principles of knowing who I am and living it all the time. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to tell everybody, oh, you're a spiritual being, you need to wake up, you need to meditate, do all these things at work. We speak to them in terms that they can understand. So it's very practical, though. So the point of it is that in using these principles, you can live your life in practical ways, in relationships, in communities, in companies, in organizations, governments. The whole world benefits from having full access to you. So you bring your full self and engage in the world. And these principles have remarkable benefits for people. So there's the service that you can provide when you're fully engaged and fully available. And also there's the less frustration and discomfort of trying to engage in sort of halfway. You feel conflicted in some way. So this brings things together, integrates your life, and is really practical and powerful.
Yeah. And I think one other thing is a lot of people think when you're in your pain and suffering, when something frustrates you or upsets you, that's something wrong with you that you need to correct, and that you're not truly a spiritual being unless you no longer have any of those things happening to you. And it's our knowing that that's not true, that you're a spiritual being the whole time, and that even the pain and suffering that in the moment that you might experience is an opportunity to release that and to become, we call it holy work. And that it's part of being in a human body is sometimes things don't feel so good, and other times they feel fantastic, and all the time you're the same. And finding that core that's always the same is where true enlightenment is. And
so if you resonate with this message and find it interesting or you're curious about it, the best thing to do would be to comment on the webpage where you're watching this video, and we would love to hear from you. We will respond to the comments, and if you know people that might be interested in it, or it sounds familiar, or think, hey, this is something my friend could really benefit from, let them know. And we'd love to interact with you on any level, so please feel free to post your comments, on the webpage. And we really thank you for your time and attention, and we look forward to meeting you in some form out there. So thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Blessings to all of you.
Blessings.